Up to now, we have seen the three units of linear IC applications. In the unit number 1, we have seen about the basic differential amplifier and how the op-amp works. In the unit number 2, we have seen about the feedback configurations of op-amp, and in the unit number 3, we have discussed some of the basic applications of operational amplifier. So in the unit number 4, we are going to discuss about the remaining applications of op-amp, and we already know the op-amp is a high gain differential amplifier, so which is used to do some mathematical operations such as addition, subtraction, multiplication, integration, differentiation, etc. Okay, so these are basic operations we have already discussed in the unit number 3. So in this one, unit number 4, we are going to see about the op-amp as a oscillator, and how it is going to use like a comparator, which means the non-linear applications of the operational amplifier. So let us see the topics what we are going to discuss in the unit number 4. So this unit number 4 is also divided into two parts. So one is the oscillator section, another one is a special application section. First of all, we will see the oscillator section. In the oscillator section, we will see about the phase shift and Wien bridge oscillators, square, triangular, and sawtooth wave generators, comparators, zero crossing detector, Smith trigger, characteristics and limitations. So these are all the topics in the oscillator section, and in the specialized applications we are going to see about the 555 timer IC, which is operating in the monostable and astable operation, and its applications PLL, phase locked loop, operating principle, monolithic phase locked loop applications, and analog multiplier and phase detection, wide bandwidth precision analog multiplier MPY634 IC, and its applications we are going to see in this entire unit. Let us quickly move into our topic. First one, what is oscillator first of all? So we have number of definitions for the oscillators. So I will explain you the two definitions for oscillator. The oscillator is a circuit which produces oscillations at a desired frequency without giving any input signal. The oscillator is a circuit which produces oscillations at desired frequency without giving any input signal is called oscillator. And one more definition for this is the circuit used to generate AC voltage without an AC input signal is called oscillator. Okay, so the oscillator output is a AC signal, and it does not take any input signal. Without any input signal, the oscillator is going to give the output signal. The circuit requires a DC source to generate the AC signal. So in oscillator, the DC signal or supply voltage, whatever we are going to give to that will be converted into the AC signal. So we can also say the oscillator is a DC to AC converter too. Okay, the oscillator can convert the DC signal into the AC signal. Here the DC signal in the sense the supply voltage what we are supplying to the circuit, oscillator circuit. If the output signal is a sine wave, it is called as sinusoidal oscillator or harmonic oscillator. Okay, so if the oscillator output is in the shape of sinusoidal, then it is called as sinusoidal oscillator. Otherwise, it is called as relaxation oscillator. Okay, so if the oscillator output is a sinusoidal, then it is called as sinusoidal oscillator. Otherwise, it is called as relaxation oscillator. Okay, so the relaxation oscillator, in the sense the output is other than sinusoidal signal. The oscillator contains both active and passive components. The passive components decides the frequency of oscillations. So the oscillator may contain both active components as well as the passive components. So what are active components? The diodes and transistors are called as active components, and the device which was generated using those active components, which is op amp, that is also called as a active component. And along with the active component, we have some passive components in the oscillator circuit in order to decide the frequency of oscillations. So when the circuit will act as an oscillator, so when we'll see the condition for oscillation are Barkhausen criterion. Okay, so in order to work a circuit like an oscillator, it has some conditions. That conditions must be satisfied by the circuit in order to operate like a oscillator. So those conditions has been given by a scientist called Barkhausen. So that's why these conditions are called as Barkhausen conditions. These conditions are called as Barkhausen conditions. Okay, it's a very important. And the conditions to maintain the oscillations are, so A beta is equal to 1, which means that the loop gain is equal to 1. So here A is the gain of the amplifier and beta is the gain of the feedback network. A and beta will be equal to 1, which means that the loop gain must be equal to 1. And the second condition in order to satisfy the Barkhausen conditions, or in order to work our amplifier as a oscillator, the total phase shift around the closed loop is 0 degrees. The total phase shift around the closed loop is equal to 0 degrees or else 360 degrees. Okay, so when our circuit will work like an oscillator, when it satisfies the Barkhausen conditions. So what are all the Barkhausen conditions? Those are only two conditions. One is A beta is equal to 1. Another one is the total phase shift must be equal to 0 or 360 degrees. Okay. Next one, the black diagram for the oscillator. So in the oscillator black diagram, we will have the two major blocks. What are they? One is the basic amplifier block. Another one is a positive feedback network. Okay. So here one thing we have to remember, the oscillator uses the positive feedback and amplifier uses negative feedback. So whenever we have an amplifier with a positive feedback, that can be operated like a oscillator. Okay, so the output of the amplifier will be given to the positive feedback network, and then the output of amplifier will be given to the feedback section, and the feedback network feedback signal will be the input for the basic amplifier. So this amplitude limiter is to maintain a constant amplitude for the output signal. So okay, this amplitude limiter is to maintain a constant or stable output signal. Okay, so let us see the classifications of oscillators. Oscillators are classified as, according to the waveforms generated, it was classified as a sinusoidal oscillator or relaxation oscillator. Okay, so based on the waveform what it is getting generated, these oscillators are divided into sinusoidal oscillators and relaxation oscillators. So we have already seen what is sinusoidal oscillator. The sinusoidal oscillators generates sinusoidal signal, and the relaxation oscillator means that other than sinusoidal signal, whatever the signal is called as a relaxation oscillator. And the second classification for the oscillator is according to the fundamental mechanism used. According to the fundamental mechanism used for oscillations. So one is the negative resistance oscillator, another one is the feedback oscillator. So the negative resistance oscillator uses the negative resistance devices like UJTs. Okay, so if you use the UJT in the amplifier section in order to generate the oscillations, those are called as the negative resistance oscillators. And the feedback oscillator in the sense, so the amplifier which uses the feedback signal. So which feedback will be used by the oscillator circuit? Only the positive feedback will be used by the oscillator circuit. And the third classification for the oscillators are according to the frequency generated. These oscillators are divided into audio frequency oscillator AFO up to 20 kHz and radio frequency oscillator 20 kHz to 30 MHz, very high frequency oscillator 30 MHz to 300 MHz, ultra high frequency oscillator 300 MHz to 3 GHz, and microwave frequency oscillator above 3 GHz. So, okay, these are all the classification based on the frequency generated by the oscillator. And the next classification of the oscillator according to the type of circuit used in the feedback section, sine wave oscillators are classified as RC oscillators and LC oscillators. Okay, according to the components or circuit what we are using in the feedback section, these oscillators are classified into RC oscillators and LC oscillator. So if you use the resistor and capacitor in the feedback network, then that is called as a RC oscillator. If we use the inductor and capacitor, then that is called as LC oscillator section. So we have already seen the RC oscillators and the LC oscillators in the electronic circuit analysis subject. Okay, RC oscillators and LC oscillators. So in the place of LC oscillator, we have seen the Hartley oscillator, Colpitts oscillator, etc. In case of RC oscillator, we have seen the phase shift oscillator and Wien-Bridge oscillator. Okay, so let us see the RC oscillators first. RC oscillators are popularly used to produce low frequencies. So RC oscillators are used to produce the low frequencies. So in order to generate a stable low frequency signal, then we can go for the RC oscillators. There are two important RC oscillators. There are RC phase shift oscillator is the first one, and second one is the Wien-Bridge oscillator. Okay, the main or important RC oscillators are RC phase shift oscillator and Wien-Bridge oscillator circuits. Okay, so now we are going to discuss about this RC phase shift oscillator and Wien-Bridge oscillator. First we will see RC phase shift oscillator. This is the circuit of RC phase shift oscillator using the op amp as active device. So here if you see, this op amp is working in the inverting configuration. So it can be called as inverting op amp. So here minus terminal is used as a input, and here one feedback for the op amp is via RF, which is in the feedback path. Okay, from the output V0 to the input of the op amp, we have a resistor RF which provides the feedback, and the input was given through the resistor R1, and the non-inverting terminal of our op amp is given to the ground terminal, and here the plus VCC minus VEE are the supply voltages for the operational amplifier, and the output of operational amplifier has been given to the V0. V0 means V0 is the output of the operational amplifier which is given to the feedback section. Okay, this is the feedback section in the circuit. So which was formed by the three RC sections, one RC section, two RC sections and three RC sections, and each RC section will provides the 60 degrees the phase shift. Okay, so when this circuit will act like an oscillator whenever A beta is equal to 1 and the total phase shift around the loop is equal to 0 degrees or 360 degrees. So as we are using the op amp in the inverting configuration, it will provide a phase shift between the input to the output, which is 180 degrees phase shift. In the waveform itself, you can understand the input signal is started from the negative half cycle to the positive half cycle, and the output of amplifier is starting from the positive half cycle to negative half cycle, which is exactly opposite. Okay, which means that 180 degrees phase shift is there between the input of op amp to output of op amp, because it is working in inverting configuration, and as it is providing 180 degrees phase shift, and the remaining 180 degrees should be provided by the feedback network in order to satisfy the Barkhausen condition, the total phase shift equal to the 360 degrees. So 180 was already provided by the amplifier section, and the remaining 180 will be provided by the feedback section. So here we have the three RC sections, and these three R and C values has been selected to give each RC network should give 60 degrees of phase shift. 60 degrees by this RC section, 60 plus 60 plus 60, which is 180 degrees. So 180 from the feedback network and 180 degrees from the amplifier section. So the total phase shift around the loop must be equal to 360 degrees. The condition 2 of the Barkhausen has been satisfied, so that it will work like a oscillator whenever it satisfies A beta is equal to 1, which means that the gain of the amplifier section into the gain of the feedback section, which will be equal to 1. Okay, so here the op amp provides 180 degrees phase shift and the feedback network provides 180 degrees phase shift. Each RC section provides a phase shift of 60 degrees, and here we have just given only the feedback section. So each RC network is given 60 plus 60 plus 60, which is 180 degrees phase shift, and the frequency of oscillations of this RC phase shift oscillator is given as f is equal to 1 by 2 pi RC into root 6. Okay, so f is equal to 1 by 2 pi RC into root 6, which is a very important equation in order to do the problems. And the gain of this network A must be greater than or equal to RF by R1. Okay, because it is a inverting configuration, the gain is RF by R1. This RF by R1, so the gain must be greater than or equal to RF by R1, which is greater than or equal to 29 for producing oscillations. Okay, because if the amplifier gain is greater than or equal to 29, then only it will work like an oscillator, otherwise it won't start the oscillations. So that from this equation we can write RF is greater than or equal to 29 into R1. So RF is equal to 29, R1 is a minimum condition to start the oscillations. So while designing the RC phase shift oscillator, we have to consider RF greater than or equal to 29 RF. RF is greater than or equal to 29 R1. And now we are going to see the derivation for the frequency of oscillations of a RC phase shift oscillator. Consider the feedback network and apply KVL to the loops. So here we have taken the feedback section only. In this feedback section, I have represented the three loop currents I1, I2, I3, and here Vi is the input voltage for the feedback network and V0 will be the output voltage for the feedback network, which is nothing but the feedback voltage Vf. Okay, because the feedback output voltage will be the input for the amplifier section. That's why V0 is nothing but Vf. So here if you apply the KVL in the loops, we can get I1 into R plus 1 by j omega c minus I2R is equal to Vi. So in the loops we can write voltage Vi is equal to I1 into 1 by j omega c plus I1 minus I2 into R. Okay, now I have taken common of I1 from those two equations. Therefore, I1 into R plus 1 by j omega c minus I2R is equal to Vi will come. And in the second loop, it does not have any voltage source. That's why it is equal to the 0. So here minus I1R plus I2 into 2R plus 1 by j omega c minus I3 R is equal to 0, which is equation number 2. If you apply the KVL for the loop 3, so what we get here, I3 minus I2 into R plus I3 into 1 by j omega c plus I3 into R. Okay, this equation can be rearranged as 0 minus I2R plus I3 into 2R plus 1 by j omega c is equal to 0. So by this 0, because there is no I1 term in the third loop. Okay, so by solving and replacing j omega as s, and by using the matrix form, we can write the equations as r plus 1 by sc minus r 0 minus r 2r plus 1 by sc minus r 0 minus r 2r plus 1 by sc into I1, I2, I3 is equal to Va 0, 0. Okay, in the matrix form. This is equation number 4. By solving the above matrix in order to get I3, because why we want I3? Because the output voltage is nothing but which is the output of the third loop, right? So that's why we have to calculate the current flowing in the third loop I3. Okay, in order to get the I3, we are using the Cramer's rule to solve this matrix. After solving, I3 is equal to det 3 by d, so which is equal to Vi into r square s cube c cube divided by 1 plus 5 src plus 6 s square c square r square plus s cube c cube r cube. Okay, which is equation number 5. Now the V naught equation is equal to Vf, which is equal to I3 into R. So we already have I3 equation, just we are going to multiply with R. Therefore here R square will become as R cube and the remaining expression is same, Vi R cube S cube C cube divided by 1 plus 5 SRC plus 6 S square C square R square plus S cube C cube R cube. Okay, so we got the output voltage equation. So beta is the gain of the feedback network, which is output voltage divided by the input voltage. So that can be written as, so already we have V naught in the left hand side, right, in the last equation. Then we can take this Vi to the left hand side in order to get the value of beta. Therefore beta is equal to R cube S cube C cube divided by 1 plus 5 S CR plus 6 S square C square R square plus S cube C cube R cube. By replacing S by j omega and S square by minus omega square and S cube by minus j omega cube. The above equation can be written as beta is equal to minus j omega cube R cube C cube divided by 1 plus S j omega CR minus 6 omega square C square R square minus j omega cube C cube R cube, dividing the numerator and denominator by minus j omega cube R cube C cube. So in order to rationalize the equation, therefore beta can be written as 1 by 1 minus 5 alpha square plus j alpha into 6 minus alpha square, where what is alpha? Alpha is equal to 1 by omega rc. Okay, so here by just replacing alpha is equal to 1 by omega rc, wherever we have 1 by omega rc, that can be represented with the alpha, so that the beta equation, the gain of the feedback network, can be written as 1 by 1 minus 5 alpha square plus j alpha into 6 minus alpha square. Okay, we got the beta equation. In the beta equation, by equating the imaginary part to 0 in order to find the frequency of oscillations. Okay, so what is there in the imaginary term? Here imaginary term is the alpha into 6 minus alpha square here. Okay, so here whatever the term with the j, that is the imaginary term. Okay, alpha into 6 minus alpha square is equal to 0. Therefore alpha square is equal to 6. Okay, alpha will go to that side and divides the 0, which is 0 only. Therefore 6 will go to the right hand side and become alpha square is equal to 6. Therefore alpha is equal to square root of 6 And what is alpha? 1 by omega RC. We just assumed as alpha is equal to 1 by omega RC. Therefore, 1 by omega RC is equal to root 6 and omega is equal to 1 by RC root 6. Okay, here omega can be written as 2 pi f. Therefore, f is equal to 1 by 2 pi RC root 6, which is the equation for frequency of oscillations of a RC phase shift oscillator. Okay, where f is the frequency of oscillations. By using this formula, we can calculate the frequency of oscillations. At this frequency, the beta is equal to, we already know alpha is equal to root 6 or 1 by omega RC is equal to root 6. So, alpha is equal to root 6, we are going to substitute in the beta equation. Therefore, 1 by 1 minus 5 into root 6 whole square is equal to minus 1 by 29 will come. Therefore, we can say by taking modulus for the beta, beta is equal to 1 by 29, which is a gain of the feedback section. So, we already know in order to satisfy the Barkhausen condition, A beta must be equal to 1 or greater than or equal to 1. Therefore, A greater than or equal to 1 by beta, so which is greater than or equal to 1 by 29, which is 29. Therefore, the gain of the amplifier must be equal or greater than 29 in order to start and maintain the sustained oscillations. Okay, for oscillations to occur, the gain of the op amp must be greater than or equal to 29, so which can be adjusted by the resistors RF and R1. So if you see the advantages and disadvantages for the RC phase shift oscillator, advantages are the circuit is simple to design, very simple. Only the 3 RC section and 1 op amp is enough. Can produce the output over audio frequency range. So we already know RC oscillators are used to produce low frequency signals, which are audio frequency signals, and produces the sinusoidal output waveform, which produces the sinusoidal output waveform. It is a fixed frequency oscillator. So once the oscillator has been fixed to one frequency, that is constant only. So it is difficult to change the oscillator frequency. If you see the disadvantages of RC phase shift oscillator, the frequency can be varied by simultaneously changing of all RC component. Hence, it is considered as a fixed frequency oscillator.